Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Tina's Arena. Today, I have my very special friend Yana with me, and she would like to share a story about coming to Canada, right?
Yeah, thank you. It's a funny story because me and my mom, we were actually going to come to Canada because my sister, my cousin, I should say, but I call her sister because she's the only sister I have. She was going to get married. So we already had our tickets to fly into Canada for June, and the war started in the end of February. So when the war started, my aunt was like, oh my God, you just have to come here. So we changed our tickets, and it was very helpful that we had those tickets already, right? Because we already had our visas open. So all we needed to do is just change the dates. That's why we were able to come here so quickly. We came 6th of March. I remember that day. And since then, I stayed here. Didn't plan to. We actually had our tickets back for August of that same year because we thought it was only going to be temporary and we would go back home and everything would be fine, right? But it didn't. So we stayed, and then life got in the way. Met my husband, currently my husband. And that's the main reason why, the life started flowing here. My mom stayed, but she's going back very soon, actually, because my dad and my whole family is still there, right? So I'm staying. She's going back to her life. I'm in Windsor now. I'm very grateful that it's Windsor because now that I can compare to, sorry, Toronto, but
Yeah.
Windsor, Windsor it is, I love my life here, met my community, dance community, met so many friends through the community, right? Building our life here, I feel like it's just much easier to do it in Windsor. And in general, we like Windsor more than Toronto just because of it's a big city, traffic, oh my God, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's how I'm here.
Was it easy for you to adjust to life in Canada? How was it like coming to a completely different country? Did you know English already?
Yes, I did. It was easy. I would say it was fairly easy, despite all the circumstances and why I came here at the first place. I did know English and that was a huge factor that helped me, of course, because I studied English. I went to study English studies in Poland. So that's what I did for my bachelor's. So, and honestly, I just loved English my whole life. Like since I was at school, I was having like private tutors in English. And that's probably how my love for English grew. But still, it's not perfect. David has the most fun with me in my English because sometimes I can say something that it's completely out of reality, but he loves it. So in general, I would say it was easy because we had family here, right? So I didn't come, like a lot of people left their houses and just went completely not knowing where they're going, not knowing anybody, not knowing the language. It's hard, right? But we came to our family, we stayed with our family. So this change was very easy. And just, I think what helped me most was probably the approach for life, right? That I have, I try to live by is just whatever happens for the best. So if life brought me here, it means it has a reason, right? If God wants me here, that means he has a plan for me. So I just try to follow the plan, and it's honestly, it's amazing where life can take you without you even knowing that. So yeah, I love that.
So you've just been like following the ride, kind of.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I try to do. I think there's this popular saying, make plans and then God will laugh. So it's easier the other way, right? Like if you follow what God brings you, what life brings you, universe brings you, whatever you believe in, whatever this higher power is just, naturally follow that flow. Is just so much easier to live like this and more interesting, I would say, right? Because if you just plan everything out and it's like, yeah, maybe for some controlled people who love control, it's easier. But to me, I like that flow. I like to just accept whatever life brings me, right? So It's been always working out for me, honestly. Yeah.
That's amazing. I don't know if you know this, but you're one of those people that I look up to because you seem so full of life and joyous, and like you just seem like one of those people that has fun everywhere you go. And that is like my goal, because I am so reserved and quiet, and I'm like, you were one of those people, like, what would Yana do in this situation? Or like, how would she act?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
So you're an inspiration to me, and I thank you for that. Have you always been so joyous?
Probably no. I think there was a moment where I consciously wanted to be like that, and I started reading books, developed myself more spiritually in that way, just trying to go, that path, and that helped a lot. But I must say that it was pretty easy for me. I know that it's hard for a lot of people, because it is hard. It is hard to surrender. It is hard to let go, especially if you're used to, like, right, as I said, control everything in your life. And I still do that, of course. We all do that, but to some extent, right? So to be able to find that golden middle, that balance between, I have to do this, and then maybe I should just let go and see what happens, right? It's still hard, but the more you do it, I would say the easier it becomes, and the more enjoyable it becomes too.
So I'm hearing you say that spirituality has been a big part of that for you?
It was, yeah. I am coming from a religious family, Christianity, but at some point of my life, I started to explore other ways of spirituality, and I got really interested in that because, when we are brought up in a family which is, one type of religion, then that's the only type of religion we're exposed to, right? Mm-hmm. But then when you grow up and you have the ability to explore for yourself, all the doors are open, right? So yeah, just in general, I was reading different books, and still the last one, both me and my husband, that was the most, I would say, impactful, was by an author, Michael Singer. And I read 2 of his books. I'm still reading his 3rd one, but his concept is the same. It's just those words that I already said. It's let go, relax, release, surrender. One of his books is called The Surrender Experiment, where he talks about how he actually surrendered to everything what came his life, and it's awesome. I'm still on that journey, obviously. We're still learning, but just to have that kind of at the back of your mind always helps, So it's like a place where you can always come back to if you're in a moment where like, oh my God, what do I do? What should I do, right? Something's going not the way you want. You ask yourself, okay, but who am I to say, what do I want? Life will be going the way it will be going, despite the fact if I want it or not, right? So it's me who needs to change the attitude, right? And it helps, yeah.
I love that. Thank you for recapping that.
Yeah.
Okay, so then for your dance, have you always danced, or when did you start dance? How did dance come up in your life?
Yeah, it came up pretty early, I would say, in my life. Again, it wasn't my decision. My grandma found an ensemble back in Ukraine for me. I think it was my first grade of school. So I was like, I don't know, 6, 7 years old. And this is where I started dancing. It was an ensemble where we sang in a choir and danced Ukrainian folk dances. Spent my 10 years there. Actually, I did not realize for quite some time that the basis for the dance that we danced was like the warm-up that we were doing was actually a lot coming from ballet. And I just recently took a ballet lesson with our Ashley from Art of Dance. She was doing like one for instructors. And it was such a nostalgia for me. I was like, oh my God, this is what I used to do. I know like all the piquets and corps de bras. It was so cool. So I realized that was probably what gave me the foundation for dance without even realizing it back then. So that was my 10 years of life. After I went to study to Poland, I tried to enroll into their ensemble of Polish folk dances for a little bit, and I actually did. I auditioned and they got me, which was very hard to get in there. So I was very happy I got in. But actually, they said that I was the first one in the history who left on my own just because it was too hard for me. Like I was in Poland, it's a different city. It's the first year of university, different language, a lot to do, a lot to study, and it was just too much. So I left. Unfortunately, so that was a little bit of a break. I did try a little bit of ballroom, I think, in Poland too, but it was very amateur. And then COVID happened. And that's when I wanted to go back into some kind of dancing, any kind of dancing very much, but we couldn't. So I knew that after COVID ends, I will go back to dancing. And that's when I got introduced to salsa dancing. Salsa and bachata were my first ones.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was crazy. When you start, you're like all in.
Obsessed.
That was me. Yes, that was me. I was going for classes every single day of the week. Just straight after work, I was going for salsa bachata. And then Kizomba was actually my last dance that I got introduced to during just a social party. I just started dancing and then I got really interested. So I started taking classes after. And then, yeah, it just took off. It was social parties. I remember that first summer when I started, I was going to every social party. I honestly don't know how I survived that.
Yeah, the thing we did when we were younger, right?
Yeah. When was this? But honestly, I they had, because it was summer, so we had like outside parties for free. So you would go like almost every day of the week, come home like 2 a.m., go back to work at like 7 a.m. I don't know how I did this. But yeah.
Is this still in Toronto?
That was in Ukraine. That was still in Ukraine. So then I came here, and in Toronto, I was just going social dancing, different workshops, festivals. I did my first festival back in Ukraine, and then I did a few here, but my actual love for Kizomba grew probably here in Toronto. That's when I started to go to all the Kizomba related festivals. And honestly, I was just dancing for my own pleasure, enjoying it, taking lessons, workshops, everything possible. And then when I moved to Windsor, this is when Eric just started teaching here. And we danced. I don't even remember where we danced for the first time, but it was one pop-up social or something where he actually pulled me out of the crowd and I helped him teach. And then when I moved and we danced again, and he's like, "You're teaching with me. That's it." I'm like, okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So again, that's another example of how just things come into my life. I never imagined or thought or dreamt of being a teacher. I was just doing it for fun for myself, right? And then it just came my way. And who am I to say no? I'm surrendering, right? So I said yes. And ever since then, we've been building this Kizomba community here in Windsor, which has been awesome. I remember when I came to Windsor, there was no Kizomba. Nobody knew what Kizomba is. And now we have socials. We have an upcoming event, actually, which we're organizing in September. Again, never would have even imagined that I would be organizing a Kizomba event, but it is happening. WinKizX, everybody. So yeah, that's how I came to where I am right now. It was just, again, a flow of different kind of dance styles, dance journeys. And when you find Kizomba, it's what I think where I'll stay, because when you find that what you really like and you're drawn to, you just want to, share it with people. And that's exactly why we do what we do here in Windsor. It's never about, we just want to go dance and teach and that's it. It's just a lesson. We want it to be more. We want more people to know about Kizomba, to teach them how to dance, how to, enjoy themselves in the dance. Because I always say, once you try Kizomba, that's it. You're never going to be out.
It's true. Yeah. Love it. Okay, wait, take a second and plug your event. You're even flying in talent, I think, right?
I'm not flying. I think there will be driving because it's mostly Toronto talent. Okay. Yeah. But these are some people that I think they haven't been to Windsor before.
September when?
September 6, 7. It's a weekend event, Saturday, Sunday. We have a couple of artists coming, a couple of DJs. We have workshops. It will be traditional Kizomba event focused, but we will have both rooms for the social, traditional, and urban for everybody to enjoy. We have one of the artists is Babs. He's the organizer of one of the other biggest Kizomba festivals here in Canada, Kizo, which is happening in June. We have David and Daria from Toronto. We have Java, who is a DJ and a teacher. And we have Yana and Larissa from Toronto. Yana is also the co-organizer of another event in Toronto, Kizomba. So yeah, and of course featuring our very own DJ Simo. He will also be there. Yeah. Okay. Very excited.
DJ Simo is Yana's husband.
That's right.
Good fun. Good fun. Okay. Awesome. So I've noticed I see that pattern in you where like you just love things and then things happen and it works out for you. And that's so awesome.
Yeah.
What about your newest undertaking with your husband? Tell us about that.
Yes. Wife versus World. It is very recent. It was totally David's idea.
How did you guys come up with the idea? What was happening?
So basically, David just thought that I'm funny and we should take advantage of that.
Yeah, I agree.
That's it. He was like, you're just too funny. He loves the way I react to things. And this is kind of what we do because David is a gamer. He used to game his whole life. And I am complete opposite of that. I probably played like 2 games in my whole life, Barbie and racing and Need for Speed, I think. And some gardening maybe. That's it. So you see, yeah, I'm very limited in that. So, okay. So he was like, it's going to be awesome. We'll have you play different video games for the first time and we'll record your reaction to those. And he was right. It's hilarious. We've done one and then we kind of took a break, I think last year. But then this year we decided to really put focus on it. And yeah, I think our focus is just, again, to share the joy. It's created with joy. We want to share the joy. The goal is every time we record a new game that I play, we tried also different things. I think with League of Legends, we had one where I guessed characters, their names and what they do, their specialties, etc. That was fun. So yeah, I think it's going well. We are very excited. I'm actually excited about the fact that we are getting people and views from people like, I don't know. So it's not our friends, it's not our followers. That's like crazy to me. Like the abilities we have nowadays, you can reach whoever you want, wherever you want out there in the world. I was like, wow, that's crazy. So yeah, we'll be going forward with that. We are on YouTube. This is our main channel, but we're also on Facebook and Instagram. And I think we're actually recording a new episode this Saturday.
Awesome. What is it called?
Wife versus World.
Wife versus World. I don't game either, but I watched one of your episodes and it was hilarious. I totally agree with David. He's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Brilliant idea. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I guess it's going to be surprised what game you're playing. You don't know yet?
It was supposed to be like that, but I think he told me, but I already forgot. So yeah, it will be a surprise.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to plug or share that you're working on?
I did not realize that Cat in House will also bring a lot of work with it. I totally love it. Don't get me wrong, because, we kind of split the duties. David is the builder. I'm the designer, which I love. But yeah, just, everyday duties. So that's my life.
Your Instagram is Wife versus World as well.
That's right. For that channel, yeah, we have a separate Instagram, Wife versus World, same Facebook and same YouTube. But my personal Instagram page is just Yannichka. Yannichka is actually very Ukrainian. I created it when I was like, I don't know, when did we all started using Instagram? And this is a very cheesy name, so just so that you know, because it's like, you don't have that in English, It's like, yeah, the cutesy, like you create this diminutive form. Yeah. So because that's how, my mom and my family used to call me. And that's how I put myself there. And now I actually don't want to change it because it's still cute to me.
Yeah. The only reference I have is in Spanish. People say señorita.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the same concept. Yep. So,
okay. That's it. And then your dance studio is Art of Dance
Windsor. Yes. The best studio I can think of. Honestly, Denise, the owner, she is just, I feel like sometimes she lives by the same rule that I but she is that opener of the doors. I come to her and she's just going to give you the world. And she has been a big part of everything the studio offers, obviously, but also just to see how the studio grew. in the past, I would even say a year, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's thanks to her, because she leads with her heart. And she also, I think her goal for the studio is just to share that love for dance that she has. And that's why she draws the same people. Yeah.
Yeah, her energy is impeccable for sure. And she's coming up on the podcast soon.
I love it. I'm going to watch it.
Yes. Okay, so that's all that we have for today. Thank you so much, Yana, for sharing a little bit of your life with me.
Thank you.
Really, really appreciate it. It was just fun.
Thank you. It was fun.
Okay. Bye.